Okay, right. Type 2 diabetes is a criminal offense, and and uh, he forgot to write anything about stroke on what took place on 28th, because Mr. Dedi, Dr. Dedi is obviously covering up for criminal gang. Uh, 28th, hell lot of crime took place, hell lot of crime in my house. The plan was to murder my husband in the hospital and rape me in the house. We will talk about it later on because it doesn't apply to my husband. My husband fell ill on 27th January. We took him to the hospital. Hospital employ all these unqualified people from cheap countries, like these Russia was said to be cheap country, and now they are dominating our national health, and we have to suffer from them. And I have suffered many times from these European doctors. They are no good. Their degrees are no good, and even nurses are no good nowadays. There is no Florence Nightingale. There is no nice, decent nurse there. And they are all tyrants there. You get scared. Are you in the hands of butchers? Okay, that European nurse, doctor won't call the police, but my husband was suffering from an attack of radiation. His eyes were going this way, that way, and I told her immediately, give her aspirin. She said, I'm not going to do it. I said, give it to him, otherwise he will have a stroke. She said, no. We want to find why he have high blood pressure. I said, that's not your business. Your business is to give drugs to bring the BP down. Huh? Are you writing a book? You just give him aspirin to bring his BP down. She said, no, she's not going to do it. Nor she's going to call the police. She told me, you go home. I have admitted Mr. Dudley. She admitted Mr. Dudley, and she kept without aspirin. Whole night he had high BP. Next day he had high BP, and he was given a stroke on the night of 28th. In the afternoon, he was given stroke. I went to see him after I finished with the crime that was taking place in my house, raid by bailiff and two coppers they ransacked my house, and I owed them £50 ticket. It was not owing to me. I was negotiating when they bloated it to £500, and if I reported on Hooper, they will send me letter, you got to pay it. And then I again reported on Hooper, you got to pay the ticket. They bloated that ticket to £500, and then organized my husband's murder in Northwick Park same day, and attack on me same day. These are called as a criminal offense. Two things happening at the same time. This is called as a radiation manipulated attack on my husband at the other end, and keeping me busy in my house at this end. So that while my husband was having attack there, I was never there. You know my point. So I sat in my car. My next door Jewish couple said, Savindi, don't allow them to get into your house. I said, Norma, my husband is very ill. I'd rather be with my husband. And if they want to get into my, they can do it. And in my absence, they took 3,500 pound worth of equipment, fridges and freezers and microwaves and ladders and all that. They took it. People said, the student, they said, Auntie, you only owed them 500, 50 pound. They made it 500. They taken 3,500 pound worth of good is not good. And the way I used to hide things on those days, in those something, in the fridges, I have my valuable. Now, we will talk about it. You might think it's a silly, but that's me. And my valuables are gone. And if you ask me how many valuables are gone, I will have to, my memory lapses. I'm not a queen, I vaguely remember, but I have to count. Normally I have a very good memory, but in these matters I have to count how many Kruger Rand I lost. Okay, we will tell you later on. At the value of Kruger Rand, it range different season. How much was Kruger Rand in those days, and how much is Kruger Rand nowadays. So I have bought a Kruger and once I bought a Kruger and that was 350. Now I think the Kruger end is about over 1,000, something like that. So if I have lost 100 Kruger end, you can see how many Kruger end I lost. We will talk about it later on. So the idea was to attack me in my own house while my husband was being murdered in the Northwick Park Hospital. So you can pass this information to anybody you like. The two policemen I called, one was a good man, but the good man is normally tongueless man. He got no tongue of his own. The other one was a very, very clever man, and he cracked a dirty joke with the bailiff. Bailiff, we will talk about the bailiff when the time comes. I made a film, but I don't like the film because my voice, my accent, they're all changed. I never had the English accent. Something I don't learn easily is how to copy the accent. But if I live in America for 3 months, I become American. I got flair for American accent. We will talk about that. About the gold and all that, I'll tell you what. A little bit information. I had this house and I shifted to the next house. There was sofa to be thrown in this house, and the back of the sofa, I put all my jewelry there. Don't tell anybody, but that jewelry is gone anyway. So don't. So I thought nobody is going to look into this chair, and that chair was to be thrown away. Don't tell anybody. And I was going to throw away. My husband would have thrown away, to the dustbin, And then all of a sudden they said, "Oh my God, where is my gold?" And I quickly ran and took my gold away. And that time, my house was empty. There was an Irish builder working, Jimmy Builder, and Clint Eastwood look-alike. I used to tell him things about Mr. what he did to me, and I told him, sleep there. There's a bed there. I'll give you bedding and all that, and you can make tea there and continuously paint. And when you get tired, take a bath and sleep. And before you do that, or you take the bath and come, I'll cook for you, and you can sleep here. And then I realized, oh my God, my phone is there in the socket. There were people who actually make use of the phone. And then I remember my gold is there also. Don't tell anybody, but that gold is gone. I sold it. And my family needed the money, so I gave it to them because I'm head of the family. I got many responsibility. So don't tell anybody, That's the way I am. In 73, when I was going to India, I, instead of keeping the gold in the house, under the fence I made a big hole and a tin and a polythene and put all my gold there. And I buried it. And if I had died there, the people who bought my house, they would have found a lot of gold there. That's me, stupid. But don't tell anybody. Because actually the thing is that I don't have any gold. I buy imitation jewelry, waste of money, the gold, So I don't have any gold. So there is nothing to hide. But my gold is taken, the gold in behind the fridges. So the bailiff who kept my fridges, he should have my gold also. Unless, of course, he stolen it, unless, of course, it fallen somewhere, but my gold was there. That was the best place to hide the gold. So plenty of gold there. And plus other things. And the gold belonged to my brother, not me. So we will talk about it when the time comes. And by the way, I had a lodger here. They said, "Auntie, we are out of our house, country, first time in our life. We got very scared. But police did to us very wrong. Take out your passport, take out this and taken that. They were terrorizing us. We did nothing wrong. That's what the bailiff did, And not only my things are gone, 3,500 pounds, and my gold gone, and they terrorized my student also. And one of the students said, this bailiff was asking, how is she? I said, there are sexy dogs. They want to know about me, where you people, and they all left. Because of them, my student left. Because they didn't like it. But some students said, you only owed them 50 pounds, and they took 3,500 from you. Never mind. I never told my son. Everybody knows, eh? Everybody knows what took place here, but we never told my husband because we don't want to give him any bother, any problem that will make him feel worried. Okay, everybody knows it, but not my husband. So that is called as epilepsy that day, which was not epilepsy. This Dr. Dedi, he has written nothing about TB. He has written nothing about heart attack in India. He had written nothing about stroke in first stroke in 2010 and given by criminal gang. Okay, so this Dedi's report is dishonest. And the pacemaker insertion, he shouldn't be writing it because it was inserted by Indian doctor in India. And many things are not written by Mr. Dedi here. He is not telling you the truth that when Indian pacemaker was not working properly in England, it was removed and the new pacemaker was put there. But Mr. Dedi is not telling you that mischief maker here in this country, they kept Indian box, Indian wiring, but gave new pacemaker. So what Mr. Dedi is not telling you, the Indian wiring, Indian box became rusty, started leaking, created problem. For Mr. Dudley, he nearly died on 28th April 2011. So all this is a bluff, like people get bluff. Judges are not medical people. Barrister have to be medical person, but he is not a doctor, So the patient is always right, Even all this, so many things are wrong in this first paragraph. It's called as 3.1. So many things are missed here. So TB missed here, heart attack, second heart attack in India missed there, pacemaker in India was done, but he listed here. Pacemaker in England was done, but box of Indian pacemaker, wiring of Indian pacemaker was kept in Mr. Dudley's chest. That became septic, and Mr. Dudley nearly died on 28th April 2011. So count for all these things which are not. Then it's not written here that due to heart attack, Dr. Handler did not give angiogram, but it was given to Mr. Dudley by St. Mary, Dr. Davis, after Mr. Dudley had a new heart attack in 93. Pacemaker was given in 1994 by Indian doctor, and then we came back in England and we reported on Handler, and we have to dump Handler. We went to St. Mary, and Dr. Davis listened to me, and he gave angiogram, and then angioplasty was done, and my husband's life was saved, and he gave additional tablets. Okay, then my husband had zero problem with anything. Pacemaker had appointment 6 months or 1 year, and Charlie is a very good girl, and she said our pacemaker was working fine, so therefore my husband could not have died due to any of these registered problem here, because only out of these only heart is a dangerous thing, but my husband have no problem with the heart. We never went to any Dr. Davis or any other doctor since then. Pacemaker was changed in May 2011 because because of the fault of the English doctor who left original box, Indian wiring inside. As a result, the total thing was removed to replace everything. New box, new pacemaker. That was done by doctors in Royal Brampton Hospital, and I tell you, lot of crime took place in Royal Brampton Hospital. We will talk about that later. So therefore diabetes 2, and then diagnosis of epilepsy, which is total fraud. I'm going to tell you nothing written about stroke, first stroke. We were not told anything that Mr. Dudley will have any seizure or have any epilepsy until the time Mr. Dudley had his first seizure in the house on 28th April 2011. And when we rushed him to the hospital, and they found the pacemaker was leaking. My husband had a hole in the chair where pacemaker is. The fluids were coming out. They kept him there, and they from there they shifted him to St. Mary to remove the pacemaker. So, and that was the first seizure. Royal Brampton discharged him, and then we came home on 25th, and on 27th again my husband had a seizure. So I can tell you the pacemaker given by Royal Brampton Hospital is one of those that can be manipulated by the killer via the satellite, or sending death signal via the pacemaker. So that we will do after postmortem have removed the pacemaker, and we will examine that pacemaker. If that is the pacemaker that can be manipulated to bring death or induce seizure. So many things are wrong with Mr. Dedi in this first paragraph. And the diagnosis of epilepsy, that's total fraud. Mr. Dudley had many seizures in the house. I revived him. Therefore, no brain damage took place. No heart attack took place. Because each seizure, if you test blood, they will tell you there was no heart attack. Because when a heart attack takes place, the enzyme, chemical, they change, they can show heart attack took place. And I was told my husband never had any heart attack. So I managed to revive my husband and send enough oxygen that kept his heart, lung and brain alive. Heart and lung machine is called as kiss of life. Okay. So then come another attack in April 2012. I knew Mr. Rupar is doing those attacks. And I had an encounter with a dodgy policewoman. And we will talk about this dodgy policewoman, how she stood in my path, stopping me to reach my husband, as if I dread that woman. I got a nightmare about that woman. I got a dreadmare. I need 20 men to protect me from criminal gang like that policewoman. And my husband would have died there if one woman like that reached my husband. And my husband was frail. Next door man used to shout, even though he was friend, but the English are moody. My husband said, don't yell at him, because these English old people, they die very fast, So my husband was always kind to. I said, but he got no right to come running each time we put a nail on the wall. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's our house, what do we do? So he wanted to know what we were doing to the party wall. He was just nut. Then when he fell ill, I'm the one who went to help him. My husband is the one to help him. And then he was very ill. He used to shout, you got a car, can you do my shopping? I said, anytime, John, you are like my father. I'll do anything for you. You want me to buy shopping, I'll do that. If you want me to take you shopping, I'll do that. If I can't do it, I'll send any of my men here. So I am always nice to people. And they were very nice, But it's a question of not knowing people at the right time. Like Cain and Abel, we could have been friends. Even Hooper and I could have been friends if I was not doing crime on me. I don't make enemies. I'm only truth. My husband doesn't even talk to people, and my husband is killed by these people. So this is first paragraph is wrong. So I have to stop by going out of the topic. But everything I say is to tell you my husband is murdered. 3.1 paragraph is wrong, and Mr. Dedi, Dr. Dedi is keeping important point to himself. This diagnosed epilepsy is again, it was a seizure when we took my husband to hospital, and I had to pay £30 to somebody to come with me, and because I have to be wheelchaired, because I have got problem with my injured spinal cord at vertebra number 5. I don't walk in a stress. I only walk in the house in those days, I mean. And if I have to walk in stress, then I might fall down, break my bones. I'm not going to do that. So I got to pay somebody £30 per day to come with me and sit with me and to give me company while I'm sitting with my hubby. So this Chinese doctor, I think his name is Chua, and he uh, wrote down a discharge notice. On the discharge notice, I have a discharge notice. He said seizure. And when he wrote seizure, seizure is correct, but this epilepsy is a wrong word, because if you guide people, Mr. Dudley is only epileptic, don't revive him, he will pull himself together. Uh, People are kept in dark, and Mr. Dudley died. If a seizure attack took place and you people think it's epileptic, nobody gave kiss of life to my husband, he's going to have a stroke related brain damage and paralysis. That's what took place when my husband had a seizure, when he was admitted in the hospital on 17th. Between 17th and 25th, he had seizure, and seizure caused brain damage and paralysis in legs, and then fungus. So this is what is important. This Dr. Dedi wrote epileptic, but he is not asking how did you diagnose epileptic. Where is the proof? Where is the proof? So Dr. Dedi is not reading what I have written him. I have written him very clearly. Mr. Dudley was never epileptic. He was getting seizure. Seizure-related, stroke-related paralysis. Okay. So I am the one who is paying Bowman. I'm the one who is paying fees of DD, but he's having a shatter regard for me as if I'm a bitch. I don't know where he invented this epileptic. There is nothing to report Mr. Dudley was epileptic. They simply wanted to murder my husband by telling that he is epileptic. Okay, so that's all wrong. So then come point 3.2, para number 2. Yeah. The is written disease presented on 18 December. Yeah. This is all wrong. He should say admission date. He should write title, right? Admission date on 17th. 18th December is wrong. When you start looking at record, in a record registry, you will be looking under 18, you find nothing, because he is not admitted on 18. So you should not make mistake. You should write the admission date. Mr. Dudley left home at 11:30, reached hospital half an hour later at midnight or early hours of 17th December. He was suffering from symptoms of septicemia due to the surgery on the foot. And these are the symptoms. And then after that, write nothing. End of the para. He's filling up with the trash. People brain get. He must not write anything. He said, normal fit, healthy Mr. Dudley had done surgery and suffered from so many symptoms. Therefore, he was admitted to hospital. End of the story. Yeah, he's guiding people, driving people crazy. It doesn't make any sense. He's not a good writer, and he's beating about the bush. They all medical experts are like that. So their para number 3.2 have to be written with capital, a bold heading, admission date, due to reason. Okay, you have to write admitted on 17 due to symptoms of septicemia, fever after surgery. End of the story. Then come para number 3.3. Okay. On para number 3.3, he should write the foot was injured. Origin, uh, the cause of injury on the foot is commode. Mr. Dudley was sleeping. When he turned his side, he hit the foot onto the commode, my commode chair. Because I'm paralyzed and I keep a commode at night just in case I feel going potty because my timetable is changed due to being bedbound. Sometimes these things are nuisance. And so therefore, to be on the safe side, every night we kept a commode near the end of the bed. So Mr. Dudley hit the commode, and Mr. Dudley's carer, she had actually tried to. She didn't care, looked after the foot while she was giving bath, and when he was putting on clothes, I looked at him. I said, "What happened to the foot?" And then I said, "Oh my God, this man is diabetic. Diabetic people take too long time. I'm an injured person. I take too long time." So I quickly called the doctor and GP. She should have given. She messed my husband about. She's not a straight GP. She had made a mess of my husband's diabetes. She got rid of metformin. She started giving new drugs. New drugs should be on new people, youngster. And she was making mess. And on the one hand, she says diabetes. On the other hand, she is not concerned about diabetes. If she had known that my husband injured the foot and there is a wound there, she should have immediately gone for intravenous antibiotic to dry the wound. That's what we do in India. In India, the hot season make wound very subtle. So that's what we do fast. So if Dr. Cox had given intravenous antibiotic in November or in October or even in early December, Mr. Dudley would have lived because the wound would have gone, disappeared, dried out due to antibiotic, and there was no need for surgery. But she didn't do it. She told, "Oh, nurse will come." Nurses came and went, photograph took. And if this Dr. Dedi had written about 20 pages, I wrote on the foot surgery wound, foot wound history, he wouldn't have made this mess here. He's making a fool of me. I have spent last 10 months in writing books on each topic, and this man tried to tell the Indian are rubbish, I'm rubbish. So what is rubbish about me? I am going to say Bowman should be reading. Bowman should be giving open confrontation to Mr. Dedi. What are you doing? Why don't you come to the topic? Because all of you are racist, take people's money and don't give good service. I don't have money. And what do you want me to do? Commit suicide? I'm working very hard. What do you want me to do? Sell my kidney, and make money for you people? You should give me money's worth. I have given you money and paid your fees. You should give me money's worth. All I need is honest report. You are covering up people who are living and they are going to do same crime on others, and killed my husband. So now I'm trying to tell you this para number 3.2 is to be rewritten and write always top heading. Heading should be injured foot due to commode. You can write your better English. I under stress I can't compose very much. I think you should write origin of foot injury is commode. Mr. Dudley slept at night, was turning his leg and accidentally or unknowingly hit the foot and injured the foot. Okay, so injured the foot and it was not found. One day we found it, and then I quickly called the GP that Mr. Dudley's foot is injured. Therefore, gave him a tetanus injection. and she should have said, she should have taken my husband for hospital and give there's a antibiotic by intravenous injection. But she is not proper GP. Proper GP would have remembered, yes, we will give him tetanus also, we will give him antibiotic also in the hospital, because oral is nothing. 10% absorbed by the body, 90% gone in the stool, and Mr. Dudley may be not absorbing anything because he can have any problem. So if the life is in danger of a man, then you must give intravenous injection. But I don't think Dr. Cox and all of you value my husband's life. But I think you people think Indian are dogs, they should die. Maybe you people think I should die also. You should take more time, and until that time I'm dead also. It's a question of you people not loving us. We've been loving you people, paying you taxes, keeping your country high, but you people are just taking, murdering us instead of us enjoying our old age and have some live on our own pensions. That's not, these pensions are owing to us. My husband left all his BT pension behind. This is, when my husband is murdered, his pension should be given to a charity fund. I don't think people should be murdered to save BT pension and old age pension. Whatever is owing to my husband, it should be given to a Gurdwara. Maybe give it to your Christianity. We don't care, but it shouldn't be given to my husband. Shouldn't BT and old age, these civil service must not benefit from my husband. That. So para number 3.2 is to be written. Is a man, is a madman here. This Mr. Dedi. Carry on writing dementia, this and that. It doesn't work here. You are writing here what caused the injury. Right, commode caused the injury, and GP caused unnecessary delay. Nurses did nothing. Packs and packs of bandages were delivered by the chemist. A black nurse said, I'm not going to do surgery. The wound is not open. It's not flowing. Then pus was still there. A pus can actually cause septicemia. Do you know that? Okay, so and what happened is, this Italian come, she said, he's diabetic, I'm going to have the surgery done in the hospital. But what about Dr. Cox? Did she not know that my husband is a diabetic? She should have done antibiotic in the hospital. There you are. You see my point? This GP, Dr. Cox, is responsible for the murder of my husband by causing delay and making pus build up, so that pus is to be taken out in central Middlesex and septicemia. So this para number 3.2 should have heading injured foot, injury to the foot caused by the commode, GP caused unnecessary delay, and surgery in the hospital caused septicemia. 3 lines. Everything else is trash. Then come to the para number 3.3. On the post-take ward round, diabetic foot ulcer, comment on the source of infection. This is where the source come here. This all there. It's unnecessary. This I have covered you what to write. Physiotherapy, this and that. This is all nonsense. Okay. Then come para number 3.4. On 19 December, intravenous antibiotic target toward. Okay. This is also not needed. 19th December, intravenous antibiotic. Okay, so they've been giving antibiotic for septicemia, but now they started giving antibiotic, must be special for the foot. Okay, so fair enough. And then, but fair enough. But why these foot was not foot wound was not looked on the 17th? Why 2 days later? So then comes para number 3.5. During mission developed diarrhea. Okay, these are 3.5, 3.6, 3.5. This one is okay. They are clinical notes. that Mr. Dudley had diarrhea and they kept him in side room 6, which is not good. I don't know where. 25th of December was downstairs, so it was not. It was still in room number 10. Okay, so that must be due to some drugs. So have written on but what Mr. Doody did not write. Uh, Anything that goes against the doctors, he's not writing. Either Mr. Doody, Daddy forgot here that Mr. Dudley had paralysis in the legs. If there should be some criminologist asking question from Mr. Doody, how come you refer yourself medical expert, charging people fee, and then how come you forget about tuberculosis and attack in India, heart attack, pacemaker in India, pacemaker going rusty in England, box wiring left in England. How come you are not telling truth about this, all these things like seizure in the hospital, paralysis to legs? How come? How come you are doing criminal work? This is criminal work. This is not truthful, So I'm giving chance to Mr. Dedi to correct the report, and if he doesn't, he return my money. And I'm expecting Mr. Bowman to keep an eye on a medical expert. But if Mr. Bowman himself doesn't know anything, he's not going to correct. You have to, if you know how to cook chicken curry, then only you can tell the chef you are not a good cook. So if your chef run away, you should be able to cook chicken curry yourself. That's what I do. So if I want to open a restaurant, I make sure if my chef run away, I'll be able to cook everything, even better. So therefore, if Bowman doesn't know what is foot injury, when Mr. Dudley had all this,